You were very upset. I saw you tweet, which was I actually cackled when I saw this. You said, "I'm so happy in 2011 that I made the decision to choose The Weeknd over Frank Ocean."
Yep.
Why is everyone so mad?
Welcome back, people. Welcome back to Sound Bites, the portion where we talk about things that are not the reviews, okay? We're talking about news. We're talking about tidbits. We're talking about things happening in the culture or in the past versions of the culture that are really interesting to me. I'm here. This is King Grant. This is brought to you by King Grant, our producer, Patient Zero, and the great AdrielSmiley.com, a.k.a. Adriel Smiley.
Yes.
You're Adriel Smiley official.
Yes.
AdrielSmiley.com and Adriel Smiley.
Yes.
Adriel.
Yes.
How do you feel about the AI situation that is broken down? I don't even know how to that is broken down, broken upon us, has come upon us. Something is happening. AI.
I want to give an update before I say anything.
Yeah.
The Ghostwriter on Spotify is now at 161 monthly listeners. That's as of recording this. I'm sure by the time y'all hear this, it'll be even more. I'm not as outrageous.
Hold on. What? Let me explain. So what has happened basically is that there's this guy on TikTok who basically took Drake and The Weeknd's voice, ran them through AI, and then he took that beat that everybody thought was super hot until Drake dropped that very lackluster song, and repurposed it and basically churned out a verse and a hook from Drake and then a verse from The Weeknd and put it over that track, and it released on TikTok, released it on Spotify as well. And it exploded, went viral all over TikTok. Then it started to go viral on Twitter.
Heart on My Sleeve by Ghostwriter if you're looking for it.
Yeah, which you cannot find on Spotify anymore.
It's here, but it's grayed out.
It's great. Yeah, they took it down.
Yeah.
Right? AI is becoming more of a thing on, especially on TikTok. I feel like, I'm paying attention to it, so it's feeding it to me more. But, songs where Michael Jackson is performing The Weeknd songs.
A lot of Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye doing
doing Taylor Swift.
Yeah. He's doing Ice Spice.
High School Musical.
Ariana Grande doing The Weeknd songs too. So there's everybody's voice is getting repurposed in these weird ways. And I wanted to know, how are you feeling about the situation? Because this now I think it's a situation because the song got taken. They put it on Spotify and it got taken down, so it is visible. The labels do now see it. They have to.
Do you remember that guy? I forget his name, but he was doing kind of Playboy Cardi type of music, and he was on Spotify.
Mario Judah.
Yep. That I think is the bridge between that and this. And I personally, I'm not as bothered by it or as enraged because because ultimately I think that these people will never become as big as said artists, and it's more press for said artists.
Okay.
Now the problem becomes when some of these AI songs are better than the artist songs themselves. That I think is going to be coming soon, and that's going to be a problem. But I think where it's at now, the labels are stepping in early enough. And I do think that, this is something that they're not going to be able to monitor. That's kind of my idea. My thing is it's going to be out of their hands. It's going to be out of their hands to monitor. Right. They're going to have to do what they did with Ghostwriter and take his songs down. But if anyone knows this on Spotify, there are a ton of secret pages that are posting mixtapes that are not supposed to be on there.
Yep.
Or post, all type of things. So I think that that's something that's going to be hard to monitor going forward. Because this Ghostwriter one just blew up, which is I think part of the reason why it got taken down. I'm sure
it was decent. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was good.
No, it was good.
It was good. It was a good try.
No, I think that's part of why it blew up.
Yeah.
But I think that there will be songs that don't blow up that are AI that will not get taken down because they don't blow up. I'm sure when you sent this to me, I'm sure someone sent it to Drake very shortly after.
Yeah.
I'm so sure of it. So
yeah,
my thinking is that something does need to be done, but this will never overtake the actual artist, or the label.
Right.
And here's my real question is, do you think the label or the artist want a split on this? That's my question because, right now, Heart on My Sleeve, 600,000 plays on Spotify, and it's been taken down. So that could have been obviously much more. But do you think the labels and artists do want to split, should want to split, because my ultimate thinking is that this is not going anywhere. The labels can kind of maybe simmer it down so it's not as much.
Yeah.
But the same way, again, I see fabulous mixtapes on on Spotify under the name Jack. Like, this is gonna continue, you know? So my thing is, this ultimately lead to labels saying, you know what, since we can't stop y'all, if you use Drake's AI voice, he gets 50% of the record, you know? Or make the split so massive that, you know, it deters you from even posting it, so to speak. Yeah. Is that where it's headed? What do you think about that?
I don't think that's going to happen for two reasons. I think the labels are just like too stubborn. I mean, we saw this with like Napster.
Yeah.
We spent millions of dollars battling Napster in court, and whether or not they even recoup that value.
And they ultimately lost that battle. But
is debatable whether or not they even recoup the value, right? At this point though, with the AI, it's different when you're just like downloading the music and like it's that person's music. Like they made that music, right? Now with the AI, it's like Drake and The Weeknd had zero part in the construction other than the fact that they had songs out so the AI could draw the words and like the cadence and stuff from them to make the song. But they just existed and then this song existed. They didn't
nothing to do with them.
Yeah, they didn't do anything with it. And I think as an artist, that has to be infuriating, right? Where I said this before, where it's like, bro, this is your likeness. Like, it's your vocal likeness, right? We think of like, people think of likeness like your visage, but now, at least now, there is a vocal likeness.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're even saying that it was Drake and it was like,
it's his voice. Yeah.
If you didn't tell somebody it was made by AI, you could have fooled them.
For sure.
Right? This would have passed the Turing test, basically.
For sure.
Right? So I think that because it's so realistic, right? Obviously, if you really listen and you're like, oh, The Weeknd doesn't really, he would sing it more than straight up rapping it, or like you can feel like it doesn't really have that oomph, right? That you can tell is different, but it's so similar. Whereas like you're an artist, you're like, what the fuck is happening to my art? How you're just like replicating my art? I don't get anything. I didn't make it. People are saying it's me. Like, I just think as like a person, you're like, fuck this, bro. As the label,
I can see that.
As the label, you're like, you're protecting your asset at this point now, right? You don't want people to. This is basically like people making knockoffs, right?
I think the label has a big issue with it because they just don't own the technology.
That's true. I think it's going to be brilliant for if you're an artist using this. It's going to be a godsend for you.
I think that's where it's headed, because I think of it this way.
Yeah.
A lot of these AI songs are not being sold to us as that they're not AI songs.
Yeah.
You know, which you're right. If they had said this is just new Drake and The Weeknd, I'm sure we would believe it. But it was already posted in the first place as this is an AI generated song.
Right.
Which is, you know, makes it more transparent in a sense that you can be like, okay, I see you stealing, you know, let me go handle it. But if you take a look back a few months when there was that AI generated rapper that I forget which label he was on, but the label had to basically cut his cord because of some of the things he was saying. That's what labels I think are trying to go with this. I think that labels would use this technology and do some of these things, but they just can't profit out of the way it is right now.
Right.
So
I agree.
So to me, that's why I'm like, I'm not as enraged, because you know, if the label could have profited off of all, like if Ghostwriter was signed as a writer to UMG,
they'd be totally cool with it.
This would still be up.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what Drake and The Weeknd wanted.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my thing, is that like these AIs are now going to be even more powerful when imagine there's an AI and they can just use everyone on Warner Music. And Warner Music has the rights to everyone's music on their label, and you are free to AI all of the artists on our roster.
Right.
That's going to be coming. So to me, it's not a matter of like it's taking away from the artist or their likeness. There's a bit of that, but because it's so transparent, everyone is saying from the jump, these are AI generated songs. I don't have much of a problem with that. But I know this is only because the labels don't have that control, because the labels have been dibble and dabbling with AI for a few years now. And so this is just, it's blown up more than they could have made it blow up or more than they liked. And they're not in control of it, because the AI rapper who came out a few months ago, I forget his name.
Yeah.
He wasn't big.
Yeah.
He wasn't a big rapper. His visage was very similar to some of the rappers that are like, we call them internet rappers, that type of thing. So again, once the AI goes left and it's now someone who's lyrical who's doing AI, or it's someone who's an R&B artist on the AI.
Yeah.
That's gonna change the whole thing. So I can't even really be mad because this outrage is coming from a lack of power. You know, I think that's where the outrage is more coming from. Because again, the labels have shown they are using AI and they are trying to use AI even more.
Right.
Like they would rather have an all the way AI rapper. If that was up to them. No, it's true. Like that's very cheaper for them.
Yeah, it's cheaper for them.
Makes more money. And two, I think what's really going to start happening is people using AI for artists who have passed.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking about too.
That's where we're headed, and I think that is more what I have a problem with. I don't want to hear Juice WRLD AI'd.
You know what I was thinking?
That's not what I want.
If you're the label, like, this is like where I'm thinking about like the ethics of it, but putting that aside for 1 second, I'm like, its uses, right? The AI usage is like, if you're the label, right? For example, a great example is like, okay, MF Doom recently died.
Yep.
But MF Doom has just notebooks of raps, right?
I like where you're headed with this.
And then MF Doom also has 10 plus albums where he raps in literally every word in the dictionary. So I'm like thinking that if you're a label, you could just like, I'm not saying that they should do this. I'm just saying that this is something that is on the table now. It's like, I just have him, I'll just have the AI replicate the voice, use his literal rhyme book to do the rhymes, and I have MF Doom rapping the song.
And it feels more authentic because it's actually his rhymes.
Yeah.
And
then you just put production underneath it, right? And then you just let it rock and you're like, this is MF Doom. I'm not saying that they should. I'm actually very much against that, but I'm just saying like that is like possible.
You know, that's where I'm more against it as well, especially because there aren't really laws for AI when it comes to music that they have to tell us it's AI.
It's brand new. There's no rules, bro. There's no regulation.
So this MF Doom album that we're talking about, you know, prospectively, they could put this album out and just not tell us it's AI, and we're just like new MF Doom. And we've seen how some of these, you know, posthumous albums do pretty well. Yeah, where it's like, think about an artist like MF Doom. Like, I'm sure he's more famous now than he was when he was alive, and that it's like if he has 10 more albums of notebooks that we can put out and act like this, you know, we don't have to say we AI'd this. We can just say stuff he was working on.
Yeah. Just like, oh yeah, it was like locked in the digital vault or some shit like that.
You know, so, and the thing too is I think, here's my thing is that like I don't think a lot of the states will go for that. Some of the families of some people who have passed won't go for that. And I think that may be the wrinkle in this of like, the family will say, no, he never recorded that. That's AI, and kind of get the cat out of the bag. And that's something you don't want of like, you put it out and the family's against it. Like, that's something I think that you won't want. But I think there will be a family, an estate that will say, yo, go do your thing, you know, AI it up. So yeah, to wrap up the AI conversation, that's more where I'm upset is the possibility of using it for artists who have passed and not being transparent about it being AI generated.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about, like the ethics. Like, do you think, let's say, this is a scenario that I just thought of. It was like, let's say Drake, right? I'm just using Drake because Drake's Drake. Drake uses the AI to generate a song, right? And then he's like, okay, I'm going to use 90% of it, or I'm going to sing this part more. Yeah. Right? And then put it out. Do you think that's ethical? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think, it's a tool? Like, what do you think it is, man?
I don't think artists should be using AI at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think artists should be using AI at all. Like, your performance is your performance. So, like, what would be the point of it? Like, I'm sure our artists will do it and we'll see the reaction to it. But personally, I would think that would be pretty whack. Even if you rapped 80% of the song and the chorus is AI. Nah, I'm cool. Just take the chorus out.
Because when I think about it, I'm just like, if you're an artist, this is like, almost like your demo track, basically. You can have an idea and then plug in the idea. And then, you get it to rap. It's you.
That's what I think it's going to be used for. I think the songwriters of the world who are also signed to labels. Yeah. And they will record demos for, they're sending a song to Usher or they're sending a song to A Boogie. I think this is what they'll use to record their demos now, and just put A Boogie's voice on it in the AI, and say this is what it would sound like if you chose this song.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a good use for it, you know, because it probably helps for artists to hear themselves on it, but okay, I could fit on this.
Yeah. Because in a demo or if like a songwriter breaks the song, like they do sing it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like in this case, it's going to be your own voice. But then you're like, do I sing it just like the AI? What differentiates it being you from the AI, right? So that's something I've been thinking about. But.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the 80s.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the 80s and hip hop. We did our review of NWA, Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
You gave it a higher score than me. We're gonna let the people figure out what score that
Which
was.
is very surprising, actually.
But I wanted to talk about Rakim because I think anything in rap runs through Rakim. He's the originator of what rap is.
Yeah, he's the pioneer for multi-syllabic rhymes, basically.
Yeah. And I think it's so interesting to see that divide. Like, listen to music before Rakim and after Rakim and see how different it is. Like, it's almost like, was this really rap beforehand?
Right.
Like, obviously it was, but you get what I mean? Like, it's just wild to see that people before Rakim were really rapping at, half speed is really
legit.
Really what I call it. And I think Rakim is, to me, the most like underrated rapper in that sense, because I think that we don't give him enough credit for the effect he's had on hip hop. I think someone like Lil Wayne gets a lot of credit for all of his sons in the modern era. Kanye as well. But I think Rakim should get
he's
just as much.
Yeah, because he's like, everybody was drawing in black and white, and he's like, "Yo, have you ever tried like color?"
Yeah,
that's basically the way that he was rapping. I think that Rakim, I love Rakim. You know, he's like one of the first, like, I think I mentioned this before, like the home genre, and I was like, Ludacris and Rakim was one of those first artists I really, really loved, and I think that his influence is like boundless. Yeah. Literally, anytime you hear a rap song right now, he is the grandfather to it.
His mitts are all over it.
Yeah, like the reason why, I mean, we got basically up until Kanye, 808s and Heartbreaks, he was the most influential person in the genre, probably. Like,
I would agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to the craft, not like the aesthetic or anything, but the craft of like
rapping.
He was probably the most influential person in the history of the genre.
I would agree with that.
And then it gets to Kanye where it's like, oh, you can sing and rap, right? And then Drake is like kind of like really nailed it in, like singing and rapping is now the thing. Yeah. Right? And then you got your like, Futures and Thugs where it's like, actually the words don't matter. Yeah. Right? And no, but seriously. Actually, the words don't matter as long as it sounds cool and it can sound more like a melody, right? So, but he's like the origin point. Like, well, actually, the second point, because there's the origin point, and then all the stuff that happened before him, and then it links into him, and then basically everything kind of just like sprouts out like that from Rakim, and then it closes back down to the singing part. But so I think that Pain in Full, even though we did not review it, is like, I think part of the reason I didn't want to review it for the 80s is because it kind of a little bit misrepresents what the 80s was like, because before it, there was a before it, and then there was an after it. Yes. And I think starting at Eric B. and Rakim, like Pain in Full, kind of misrepresents what it sounded like before.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Right? So I think God MC, the master. Yeah. Super important. One of the most important figures in the entire genre.
Yeah, I think what you said about him being the most influential up until Kanye, I think is very, very true. Especially when you think about how rap grew into the 90s. I think about groups like Wu-Tang, EPMD, and just the way that they were rapping was not even fathomable years before. Yeah. Like if you were a good rapper, that's not what you do. I think about KRS-One a lot. And I love KRS-One. But it's like, if you look at KRS-One compared to, someone like Guru.
Mobb Deep.
Exactly. You're just like, huh?
This is the same genre?
So
that's like, when it gets to early or mid 80s, you're like, wow, this is the same genre?
And I'll say this, like, one of my favorite groups of all time is Run DMC. Run DMC sounds like, college basketball compared to Rakim as an NBA All-Star.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing that I have noticed most, because I feel like hip hop has changed so much over the past 50 years. Like, we're gonna get into it over the past next few months, but it has changed so much, so many times. What becomes popular has changed. The content especially has changed.
Yeah.
The style has changed.
Yeah, I forgot to mention on the review pod where it's like NWA, they wore all black.
Yes.
Right? And I think that people associate all black with like, like a Playboy Cardi type figure right now. But they've been wearing all black for a time, bro. Like, you kind of go from all black to really colorful to all black to really colorful. Like, it kind of, it's like a wave. People go shirtless for a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like a Tupac and a DMX type deal.
You count Biggie too.
50 Cent.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there is like a wave. It's like black, colorful, shirtless.
Yeah.
And then it goes to black, colorful, shirtless.
And
we're at black now, sort of. I think Tyler Creator is like colorful.
I would say we're at colors right now.
We're at colors right now?
Yeah, I think we're at colors right now. I think a lot of colorful cardigans are coming out.
True, that's very true.
Printed pants.
Yeah.
But I think what you mentioned about the waves of changing is like, think about the late 90s or 2000s of the no shirt era with the DMXs and 50 Cent's Tupacs. Those are like the biggest gangsters of the time.
Yeah.
And
no shirt.
No shirt. And think about, 15 years earlier with LL Cool J, who he was the no shirt man of his time. Not gangster at all.
Yeah.
And so it's like, think how hip hop has changed, where now you can take a shirt off and it's like, nah, he's still a gangster. He's not corny because he took a shirt off. Like, this the growth of those things I think is so cool. And then as well, like, the commercialization of hip hop is what I really think of when it comes to the 80s, because that was the beginning of seeing, different people go platinum.
Yeah.
Run DMC being platinum in 84 is not the same as NWA being platinum in 88. Like, two very, very different things. And then NWA, their content being very much a form of self-expression compared to someone like Public Enemy, who's extremely political at the exact same time. So it's like, that was the growth of, not all of it is the same. Not all of hip hop is, I'm better than you. I rap so good. Like, it changed to, this is where I'm from. This is what I believe in. This is what I don't believe in. I'm against these people. I'm for these people. So that's what I think of the 80s. That's really what I think of as the commercialization of hip hop, in the realization that you can make money in a bunch of different styles. You don't have to be BC Boys or Run DMC to be big. There's a bunch of different ways to do it.
There's also like regionalism was important. And then when we do the 90s, regionalism, huge. Massive.
Yeah.
Where you're West Coast or East Coast was insanely important. Okay. And also, there was nothing else. Like, nobody, like, obviously people from Atlanta and stuff existed, and Texas, right, existed, but you were like the periphery. Right?
100%.
It was East and West Coast. It was literally war. It was literally war between East and West Coast. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the 90s one, where we can talk about that more thoroughly. But yeah, this is one of the best. I think we start off on a good foot.
100%.
Yeah.
The fashion of hip hop, I think, has grown. It goes in cycles a lot.
Yeah, because I think we're actually coming back to what NWA wears now.
No, I was gonna say we're 100% back to what NWA wears, and the rope chains, I think it's huge. I think it's huge because, first of all, everyone and their mom had a rope chain.
Yes, dude.
When it's like, it's wild that everyone has the exact same chain, but this was the pre-bling era, because to me the bling era is really that like 95 to 05, like that was the real, like, chain down to your belly button type of vibe.
But back then, every single person, literally every single person, like if you just Google 1990s hip hop, every single person you see has a rope chain.
And listen, you go back to Run DMC, where it was like part of the aesthetic. Yeah. Like, like you have to see me with my chain on, part of my look. Now it's like there's so many rappers you could think of, and you don't picture them in a chain. Like I think of Jay-Z silhouette. Jay-Z doesn't have to have a chain on. He's worn chains for sure. Yeah. But it's not like I think of Jay-Z in a chain.
But the chain now is Cubans. People rock Cuban links now, not rope chains.
Yeah.
I would love to see, it would be really interesting to see somebody rocking a rope chain now. I think that because it's so
outdated.
Is it though? But it's so outdated that I think you could rock it and people be like, "What the fuck is this guy wearing?"
I think it would give costume. I'm sure someone could pull it off, like have the confidence and the charisma to pull it off, but it really gives costume.
Yeah,
it's like It's not October. Where are you going with that rope chain on?
You know, because in the 90s, which is going to be our next decade, it was like Africa chain.
Yeah.
People start wearing the rope chain is out. You're wearing the Africa chain now.
Who has that line? Someone has a line where they're like, where's his wood chain at? Is he down for the cause?
Oh.
And I'm like,
I think that's a Tribe Called Quest
maybe
lyric, yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, like that was really what it was. Like, you know, you had to have that rope chain.
You know, your wood Africa chain, or you're wearing like the Africa like
the hat.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it definitely changes up.
Crazy. And this is the last thing I'll say about the 80s before we talk about groups and hip hop as a whole. This is the end of hip hop, I guess, being strictly motivational, like for a lot of people. Rakim, I think, has a lot of motivational lyrics. Public Enemy was a bit of that as well. But this, like the end, 80, 87, 88, 89, that's when it's like, yo, we could talk about whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not just, because I think before hip hop had this, that was kind of why people liked hip hop, was because it was more motivational, more political than other genres.
It was instructional too, telling you to do stuff.
And that was what I think people liked about hip hop at that time. But towards the end of the 80s and the 90s, that still existed for sure. Let's not get it twisted. Like those groups were definitely still popular, but it was not, you know, so much of the middle that it was at that time. So see the change. My thing is the change in content really is what I always focus on. And that's to me Kanye's biggest contribution. I know we're going ahead here, but Kanye's biggest contribution is a change in the content.
Yeah, subject matter.
The sound, of course, is important, but and sorry, before we even go forward, shout out Dr. Dre for being the actual influencer to the sound we have today, because Kanye said he stole Dr. Dre's drums.
Yeah.
And that's how we got the Kanye sound. So, in all,
yeah,
I come back to Dr. Dre in the end.
Yeah, I think that the legacy of NWA really, really important. I think that section of like right before it starts to get multi-syllable is like really interesting to see, because it was part of what was happening.
Yeah.
Right, but not a full part. So yeah, I think that I want more rope chains. I think this is what I came back out of all of this. I'm like, maybe people should start rocking rope chains. Maybe I'm gonna rock a rope chain.
Yeah, please. You know what? I say this would be the episode to do it, but you know what?
Yeah. I don't know. I only have this is my regular go chain. That's all I got.
Bringing back the rope chain.
Yeah.
Talk quickly before we got to hear about
Frank Ocean.
I don't know why everyone is so upset. You were very upset. I saw you tweet, which was, I actually cackled when I saw this. You said, I'm so happy in 2011 that I made the decision to choose The Weeknd over Frank Ocean.
Yep.
Why is everyone so mad? And you're one of those people, so tell me why y'all so mad.
Here, the thing is, I'm not mad per se. I just think it's lame. I think the Frank Ocean experience right now, it's lame, bro. He never. I'm a fan of artists, but you need to make art to be an artist. I feel like
everyone loved the performance. You didn't see all the pictures and videos.
The performance was garbage, bro. The performance. First of all, the performance was even like a performance, bro. Like I saw the live stream. First of all, cancel the YouTube live stream.
You had to get your legal live stream.
Yeah, you had to. There's this woman on Instagram, and I guess I'll put it in the video, who was like streaming it on Instagram in like 4K. It was like the clearest shit I've ever seen.
That's wild.
And she went up from 6K to literally like 45K on Instagram followers. So
respect it.
There's kind of the impact that we're talking about, but you know, there was no live stream. So if you're a fan, you couldn't really watch it unless you found out this girl's Instagram account again. So there's that. Then there's this, it was a rumor, and then it seems that it got confirmed, where he was supposed to have like these ice skaters skating.
Yeah,
right?
I heard about that.
They had this whole like actual setup of what was supposed to happen, and then he quote unquote sprained his ankle on a bike before, and then had that portion canceled for whatever reason. And so there was none of that. Barely sung. He sung a handful of songs. There was this whole set list that was put out that he only did a fraction of because he was an hour and a half late. Right? And then he showed up an hour and a half late. The performance, lackluster. He barely did any of the songs. He was kind of just like vibing to his own songs. What the fuck? You know, like when I think of The Weeknd, I went to the Weeknd's latest concert. This guy had fucking pyrotechnics, laser beams, people walking out in red. He was like this is a joke. Like, it's a joke. Honestly, to me, that's why I'm like, it's kind of a joke. Like,
that he did that?
It's a joke in the sense, like, Frank Ocean, like, what's the deal? Like, I don't understand. Like, we like to say that, oh, he released Blonde and he beat Def Jam. I'm like, Def Jam kind of what? Because he hasn't dropped shit, done shit since, you know? Like,
so you just want him to come back, saying it's been too long.
I'm at the point where I'm over it.
You don't want him to come back.
I'm
You're
over
done.
it. I don't care.
Wow.
I'm over it. Because this, to me, is like one of the lamest things you can do. Like, if you're going to perform, you need a headliner.
Yeah.
Perform. Like, actually do the performance, bro. And if you're not going to perform, go home. Get somebody else to perform in your place. Do you think, there's a second weekend to Coachella, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to perform in the second week?
I think he is.
I don't think he is. You are crazy optimistic to think that he's going to perform.
Well, the first performance, I think, got a lot of people said they loved it artistically.
Who? Where?
Some celebrities. I'll find some and send them to you.
Okay.
Some celebrities were like, I love his artistry. He always raises the bar every single time. So maybe you just don't get it.
Meat munchers, bro. Crazy.
Meat munchers is nuts.
That is insane to me.
Yeah, like maybe you just don't get it. But also,
I just want everybody to remember 2011. Okay. These two R&B acts.
I did not know it was a choice between the two of them. The first time I'm hearing that, I didn't know you had to choose one.
You didn't have to choose one, but there was definitely like, are you a Frank Ocean person or are you a Weeknd person? That was a thing.
I don't remember that at all.
I do remember that. Okay. I was a Weeknd person.
Okay.
People are Frank Ocean persons. One of my close friends, David Castles, is a Frank Ocean person.
Shout out David.
I'm getting fed. I'm well fed over here. Dudes drop an album every 2 years, it seems like. They both had like those like revolutionary R&B albums.
Yeah. Right.
Early in their career. Frank Ocean stopped. We haven't had a Frank Ocean album. It was 2016. It's like 7 years. The Weeknd has had, he's been releasing music. He's had the first trilogy and he's working on a second trilogy that is critically acclaimed as well. So it's not like, oh, wow, it's kind of like, it's like, no, the Weeknd just like dropped the same time, just doing the same shit and just clearly surpassed him. It's like not even a competition at this point. Frank Ocean's still trying to be like, oh, this mysterious guy, and it's like, oh, I'm doing weird things for the sake of being weird. It's like, nobody cares anymore. Drop the music, bro. What are you doing?
I would argue that what he's doing is still working for him. Yeah.
How? I don't understand how this is working.
Look how upset you are.
This is it. This is my last.
It's clearly still working.
This is my last Frank Ocean thought until new music comes out. I'm telling you.
You know what? I also want new music from him, but I think whatever he's doing is clearly still working. Because Frank Ocean is one of those artists who, no matter what he does, everyone's gonna try and say it's so smart and so artistic and so profound. He's one of those people. You know those people. Everyone,
wake up, people.
No matter what he does, they're gonna be like, oh, I just need to watch it more and I'll understand it better. But
wake up.
Here's what I will say. I think it's rough that people disappointed they couldn't see the live stream. I think, that is unfortunate. But what do we expect from Frank Ocean? That is my thing. Is Frank Ocean has never one time been the artist who's very much in the spotlight, always giving us what we want. Like, when's the last time you see a Frank Ocean music video? Like, think of all the songs people like from Frank Ocean. He's not even giving us music videos. And apparently he's so good at videos and so good at visuals. So it's like, at this point, I'm like, I think we have to really change our expectations for Frank Ocean because people have wants for him, but set expectations on based on what he's actually doing. Like, I had a friend when Rihanna dropped her song for Black Panther. Remember that whole week leading up to it? And it was like, new song, Rihanna. And it was the whole thing. She thought it was an album. No reason. She just saw the hype and said it has to be an album. I know it's an album.
Right.
And it's like, you expected that for no reason. No one told you that. There's no information on that. Just it's a new song, like she said. Leave it at that. How good it's gonna be, we don't know. Same with Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean has never been The Weeknd one time. The Weeknd used to be Frank Ocean. Yeah,
they used to be. They both were like these secret dudes until
and The Weeknd changed.
Yeah,
and that's my thing is that Frank Ocean has never changed. So at this point, I'm like Frank Ocean to me is more the artist who I do want to hear music from him, but I'm not gonna entertain myself with the whole. oh my God, what's happening? He's performing. Like, no.
No,
Once
yeah.
I get new music on Spotify, then I might go back and watch something.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be involved in the whirlwind because Frank Ocean has put everyone through that more than enough times. So what are we expecting? That's my thing. Frank Ocean is not, some artist who puts on music all the time and it always goes smooth. Like, even when he did Endless,
Yeah.
that at the time, everyone's like, what the hell is going on? Everyone was giving it the Frank Ocean treatment of, it's Frank Ocean, so it's artsy and it's so smart. No one knew what was happening. no one knew what was going on.
Right.
Frank Ocean's not someone who tells us what's going on or is transparent or puts out a lot of stuff. Frank Ocean could put out this new album, not do no interviews, no music videos, no tour. And it's like, we're still going to be not satisfied. So it's like, let's alter our expectations. This Frank Ocean we're talking about here. He's closer to Kanye than he is to The Weeknd. And we just got to accept that.
The disappointment that I feel is immeasurable. Okay.
We chose your side, so stick with it.
I'm winning. I'm up right now. Okay, I'm up. I'm up.
And The Weeknd came out of Coachella.
We're booked and busy, literally. Okay, we're going to the concerts. Concerts actually happen with The Weeknd. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I just think that this is it for me. I mean, I've never been a big Frank Ocean fan. Like, his music is cool, but it just never clicked with me in the way that his rabid fan base loves it. But to even just talking about like music in general, his cultural relevance is kind of like it's outstands his music at this point.
For sure.
I think that like if you think of the other people that were from Odd Future, they do more shit.
Well, I don't know if it outstands his music because I think
it outstands
people
his
still
music.
listen to Frank Ocean.
Yeah, but I think
Frank Ocean is almost like Lauryn Hill in that way.
yes, I was thinking about Lauryn Hill.
Where it's like whether he should. That's why I'm saying what he's doing is working because there's other artists who go away and you don't listen to their music still. Frank Ocean is still in a bunch of my playlists right now, whether he puts on music or not.
Biking is cool.
Yeah,
Pink and White. It's great song.
Yeah, so I would say what he's doing is working, and you're right that his celebrity or his aura is higher than his music.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he wasn't Frank Ocean like it just dropped. I saw Nice Come On in a party and everyone turned up like it just came out. So it's like what are we really doing here? You know, like
I need more people to be over it. We need to be collectively over it at this point because
it's not happening, man.
He doesn't.
Sorry to break it to you. It's not happening anytime soon.
He doesn't do shit, bro. That's the thing that gets to me is like he's not doing enough to validate his celebrity at this point.
I disagree.
This for most other people, this would fuck your career. What he just did.
But most people don't have two like classic landmark albums that are like moments of the time.
I agree. But what have you done for me lately? And that's how we're going to end Sound Bites because that shit was bullshit. Bro.
Wow.
I think that...
the short attention span is coming in.
It's been 7 years. I'm not even... think about it this way. Rihanna still did the Super Bowl. She was pregnant.
That's a separate issue. But my thing is this. Once you stop listening to Frank Ocean completely... then we can have a conversation. That's the difference. When everyone still listens to him, that's where we're at.
Okay.
It's like if his album was whack and no one listened to him at all anymore, different story.
Whatever. Whatever.
Wrap us up.
All right. Everybody, thank you for listening to Sound Bites today. Hear my extreme disappointment in Frank Ocean. Drop new music maybe once. That would be awesome. Maybe perform at your actual performances. That'd be sick. I think that thank you everybody for listening to Sound Bites, for watching Sound Bites. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That is a new thing for us and a thing we're gonna have to like get into actually saying. But make sure you follow us at Album Mode on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon Music, everywhere, literally everywhere. Anywhere you get a podcast, you can find us. You can follow Adriel at Adriel. What is it? Adriel Smiley?
AdrielSmiley.com.
AdrielSmiley.com. And then Démar at Démar J. Grant. Everywhere. Yep. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the good stuff. Thank you everybody for listening. Know yourself and know your worth.
Later, skater.